Hey, everybody. You are about to hear a brief retelling of the movie Lifetime. Enjoy the movie. 1997, inmates Banks and Gibson are buried in the prison cemetery. Old Man Long tells that these poor guys have been sitting with him since 1932, and now they've been burned in a fire and finally released. 1932 Club Spanker, Ray Gibson begged the guard to go inside. There was already resting Claude Bank with his girlfriend. They are celebrating Claude's new job as a bank teller. The man retreated to the restroom, and there he was jumped by two burly men. He owed their boss $50 while they raked $22 out of his pockets, which is half his paycheck. He now has nothing to pay with at the restaurant. Ray also came into the toilet. The crook introduced himself to Claude's classmates, but he immediately figured him out. But it's okay. The pickpocket had already managed to take his wallet, but it's already empty, and Ray himself will be pressed for the fact that he recruits customers of banks. It's time for Claude to pay the bill, but he can't. Both delinquents are brought to the docks. Ray calms down the banker, saying that he will only break his finger for an unpaid bill, but Claude talks too much and is going to be drowned. Ray tries to save his own skin and the unlucky banker's life. He promises to deliver a shipment of excellent whiskey from another state, but he needs a second driver and chooses the nearly drowned Claude as his partner. In the car, Claude sulks at the crook. His plans go to hell, and he also laughs at his position. Say behind the cash register usually work women. Samari dreams of opening his own club. Perhaps in the future Claude will give him a loan for it, and he will leave his late pop's watch as collateral. After reaching Mississippi, the partners enter a local cafe without noticing the sign saying entrance is for whites only. Claude again can't keep his mouth shut and walk away. As Ray advises, he demands that they still sell them pie and coffee, but Claude becomes more understanding when the lady pulls out a shotgun from behind the counter. Tashi has loaded the goods into the car. Ray has paid, but he's in no hurry to get back out. He wants to have some fun at the local pub. Claude has to join in. While he gets dumped by the lady, Ray sat down at a table to play poker. He pokes fun at the redneck until the rates did not come to as much as $10. He has nothing to answer with, but he does not intend to stop. So he put his father's watch on the line and he lost, and the gambler immediately left the establishment. Ray saw that there were cards taped to the ashtray. The waitress was in on it with the gambler. Ray had just been duped, but the con man Hancock was not far behind. He was surrounded by white cops led by Sheriff Pike. Hancock began to fight back, hurt the sheriff, and thus signed his own death warrant. Claude came down from above and gave the hooker $2, which he had left as a gasoline reserve. Now they were left with no money and no idea how to get back. Suddenly the bloody corpse of Hancock fell on Clone. Ray briefly began to search his pockets for his watch, and at that moment the losers were discovered by a redneck with a gun. They were immediately thrown behind bars. Claude blames the incident on Ray, and now he's sure to be late for work on Monday. The sheriff comes into the station and acts surprised to hear that Hancock's been killed. Those two were carrying 36 cases of booze, but that's nothing compared to cold-blooded murder. As luck would have it, these two dark-skinned fellows were the only ones he could find. Of course, he doesn't care what they say about just pouncing on the body. The partners are hoping they'll be believed in court, but reality has upset them.
Life!
Fucking life. And now the poor people are being taken to the Mississippi State Penitentiary. All prisoners are dark-skinned and work hard every day. There are no fences, but there are firing lines that start behind the buildings. Whoever crosses it will be shot at once. The sergeant is the main man here, and his right hand is Bob the Jumper. In the barracks, newcomers met with unkind looks. From the next day, our heroes had to wave pickaxes to fall. Claude, as usual, defends his rights and declares that he is not going to work in such heat. Dillard punished the brazen New Yorkers and was glad to know that they were here permanently. Although, if anything, he's always ready to mow them down. Except for our heroes, nobody can read. One man named Pokerface has been keeping a letter for 4 months and doesn't even know who it's from. Claude's sitting with a strange guy who says he's been in a lot of jails. Well, you're used to it, says the chimney sweep, licking his lips and stroking Claude's arm. The jumper pulls him back from hitting on newcomers while he's working, so that he doesn't feel why the man's name is Chimney Sweep. Claude annoys all the convicts. He peels bread for the whole canteen out of grief, or he is not happy with a dirty spoon. Ray gets acquainted with the silent Willie Long. He has been here since he was 13 years old. Someone was beaten to death with a nail gun, a bespectacled man killed his sister with an axe, a cupcake in a cap poisoned his parents, a biscuit skinned his aunt, and Poker Face killed Santa Claus. Having to lie to his comrades that they were butchers, they were suddenly approached by a mutant named Goldilocks and asked Claude for his cornbread. He doesn't mind, but Ray teaches the simpleton that he can't give away his food, or the big guy will sit on his neck. "Then I'll eat your bread," the golden-haired man threatened in a muffled voice. Ray retaliated with a sass, and it ended in a fight in the street. Ambal beats the soul out of Ray, but he doesn't even feel his blows. Ambal beats up the cocky New Yorker and takes him to the barracks. It's date day. Their gold rotomu came the same mutant son. Claude visited his girlfriend Daisy. It's a pity that only married couples can have privacy, but Delort is ready to make an exception for a bribe from Daisy's purse. Ray tells everyone how he's gonna have a great club on the outside. At the retreat, Daisy asks if Ray should be appealed or just Ray. Of course not, because it's all Ray's fault, and without him Claude has a better chance of getting out. Meanwhile, Ray himself is already planning his escape. He has a map drawn, but without me, Claude cuts him off. At night, Ray tells fictitious stories about his club. Claude bored that all this is a lie, but the others scoop him up because they want so much to imagine themselves at liberty, having fun in this club. But then the cops burst into the place, led by a sprung man. He demanded that everyone shut up and go to sleep. Claude gets a letter from his lawyer and tells Ray it's none of his business. The jumper counts out the pebbles, their number equal to the number of cons they brought to work. After reading the letter, Claude suddenly has a sudden urge to run away, along with Ray. It turned out that the appeal was rejected, and Daisy fell in love with a lawyer. His cousin Melvin even had time to get engaged. But Ray is nasty and refuses to take Claude with him. All ended in a fight in the castle and jumping jump, and not for nothing. Trapper Ray pulled out of him 2 pebbles. Only at night the guards found out that the New Yorkers escaped and started in pursuit. It turned out that the map is a fiction. It was drawn by Ray himself, so that Claude agreed to run away with him. But where to run to is unclear, and soon the fugitives were caught. They were brought before the warden of Abernathy prison. His daughter devised a punishment, a week in the punishment cell. The local punishment cells are reinforced wooden toilets. 1944, 12 years have passed. Gillard tells another batch of new recruits, and the firing line. One of the prisoners was a mute fool, nicknamed Straw. What was Claude's usefulness? He knew baseball and made an effort to have his team beat the other camp. Ray suggests giving the bat to Straw, and he launches the ball into the sky. The second hit is as good as the first. Abernathy's daughter May Rose has grown up, and all the inmates are drooling over her. Stan Blocker, who runs a baseball league for blacks, has come to camp. He wants to watch the talented slugger Straw. Myrouse also has his eye on him. Claude asks him not to stare at the blonde and focus on hitting, and the guy doesn't let up. The friends call themselves Straw's mentors and are confident that they can be pulled out of jail, just like the talented hitter that Blocker hinted to them earlier. But here's the thing, soon Meru got pregnant and gave birth. And the baby turned out to be black. Now Abernathy is trying to figure out the father of the defective grandson. To distract the boss from Straw, everyone stepped forward and claimed to be the father of the baby. Leaving, Maris waved a sad Straw off, and Burnate and his family were never seen again by the prisoner. Cupcake found out he was getting out soon and was upset. What would he do there like this? What will he tell his family? He won't be able to hide his identity. Cupcake ran behind the line in desperation. The sniper in the tower took him down with an accurate shot. Only the chimney sweeper approached the body of his lover. Blogger beat out a release for Straw, but only for him alone. Ray and Claude remain, no use to them anyway. Claude's plan fails, and Ray starts talking about running away again. Not far behind the barn someone saw an airplane. Surely it's not that hard to fly. But Claude's resigned to the fact that they're going to die here, and he's freaking out and saying that he and Ray were never friends, they're just stuck here together. Ever since they met, his life has been hell, and they decide never to speak to each other again. Years went by, Poker Face and Power Donut died. Ray made it to an airplane, but immediately fell and crashed. Goldfinger, Radio, and Chimney Sweeper passed away, and so did Jumping Jack. 1972, another 28 years had passed. Claude and Ray still don't talk. One day Claude freaked out and ran behind the line, only to gorge himself on hot cake. For this, the Dillard put him on the bottles. Keeping an eye on the delinquent, he wanted to keep Ray. If Claude got off the bottles, he should be shot with a shotgun, and then the overseer would set him free. But Ray would rather shoot Dillard himself. For such an impertinent answer, he was put next to him, and then Claude, for the first time in years, turned to Ray. He'd shoot him for sure. The old farts started grumbling at each other, and Claude said he was sorry Mother died, but it was 5 years ago. But they didn't speak then. Dillard informs his companions that they are being transferred to the house of Warden Wilkins. Claude has been made housekeeper and Ray has been made gardener. The latter does not like the fact that his partner is friends with the old jailer. Probably Claude is up to something. He is even trusted to pick up the new warden from the station by car. Claude finds himself among people for the first time in 40 years and sees how the world has changed over the years. Sad, he looks at his aged reflection, and then Claude saw the new warden. It was Sheriff Pike, whom he recognized by the scar on his cheek. Claude told Ray about it at once, but he doubted it. But then on a hunting trip, he suddenly saw his father's watch on the scoundrel. Ray insinuates that he knows where Pike got the watch and then punches him in the face. He forces a shotgun on the warden. The fact that Pike has his father's watch proves that he was the one who killed Hancock 40 years ago. The old cons start fighting over the gun, over the right to shoot the bastard. That's when Pike pulled his gun and Wilkins shot the warden. Ray finally got back the watch that was so precious to him. Wilkins testifies that he accidentally shot Pike while hunting. Wilkins tells the prisoners he can't give them their years back, but he'll sign a pardon for them tomorrow. Except he went to the bathroom and never came out. Died right on the toilet. It was a bad outcome for the comrades. 1997, Claude and Ray are living in the infirmary. They've really spent their whole damn lives in jail, but soon they'll be out of there, feet first. The old guys play poker and make fun of each other. They talk about how some people carry drugs in their anus. So if you want to get high, you got to sniff someone's ass. Claude says he has another plan, but Ray doesn't want to hear about any plans. They're 90 years old. At night there is a fire in the infirmary. Ray rushes inside to find his best friend, and the building starts to collapse. In the morning, the bodies of the comrades were packed in bags, and that was the end of Long Sad Story. And the plan was as follows. Claude was to steal a couple of corpses from the morgue and set fire to the infirmary. And when panic set in, they'd hide in a fire truck and wait till morning to leave. We see the sworn friends finally get to the stadium to watch a baseball game. That was a good plan. Too bad it took Claude 65 years to figure it out.